1 a.m. and I ain't tired. I can stand right here and talk all night if you want. I ain't got no place to be, no one's waiting for me. I won't lie, I'm into you. Got like a million ideas what we could do. Cause I'm not gonna let you slip away, I won't waste this. There's something about the way you fix your eyes on me. I can't help myself, fall in love, I go crazy. What you wanna do now? Should we head back to my place? When you give me that smile, I think my heart's turned up the pace. I don't care about what we do if I get to be with you. What you wanna do now? What's to be afraid of when we're young, stupid, and in love? When you talk or listen close, there's just something about your voice. I think that every word you say to me is like poetry. I just want you for my own. It's really easy to tell that you're the best girl I've ever known. I'm not gonna waste this. What you wanna do now? Should we head back to my place? When you give me that smile, I think my heart's turned up the pace. I don't care about what we do if I get to be with you. What you wanna do now? What's to be afraid of when we're young, stupid, and in love? Fix your eyes on me. I can't help myself, fall in love, I go crazy. What you wanna do now? Should we head back to my place? When you give me that smile, I think my heart's turned up the pace. I don't care about what we do if I get to be with you. What you wanna do now? What's to be afraid of when we're young, stupid, and in love?
Did you know that in restaurants in the United States, that represents about $1.5 trillion of revenue, of processing, of money coming through in the United States? Now, that is something we always focus here on POS Uncensored. We talk about the restaurants. We talk about how you can make money off of restaurants. But you know, when you're using point of sale systems, there are other industries that you may want to look at. And there's one that did about $500 billion, $566 billion in 2023. I just looked up the number. You can count me on that one. And it's not an industry we often think of. It's something that you have an opportunity to go serve. And today on POS Uncensored, we're going to talk specifically about GiveHub and how you can serve nonprofits and other industries with their services at GiveHub and the other things they do. But an industry that I think we're missing out on, we're letting other people serve, and we're going to talk about it today. But before we get too far down the road, let me bring on the other co-host, Mr. Matt Proctor. Matt, what would I should have started out to make you guess? Would you have guessed that there was $500 billion of donations annually just in the U.S.?
No. I mean, I knew it was very big, Nate, but I had no clue it was that much.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited today, guys. This is an untapped market in a lot of your areas where you guys either have not gone after nonprofits, churches, donations, or you didn't even think about it, or you didn't know that we had an amazing software that is, a perfect fit for this. So, yes, I'm very excited today. We've got a longtime friend of ours coming on board, and we're lucky to have you. So Kyle Salone, everyone, the owner, founder, everything of GiveHub software. We're so excited to have you, Kyle. Thanks for joining us, man.
Such kind words. Thank you so much, Matt and Nate. Really appreciate the invite. Yeah, we've been with you guys a long time, and I'm glad we're meeting again to talk about all the potential out there. It is an untapped market, and it's one that's not saturated, which is really great. You know, when you go talk to these folks, you're not the fifth guy in that week. This is something that you don't have to worry about a team of other reps coming in trying to steal your account. They're very sticky, and it's nice. It's like a breath of fresh air is what I always like to say about it. So thanks again for having me, and it's always good to see you guys. And we have a lot of new products that we have launched and are launching as well. So that's always exciting.
That's awesome.
You got the perfect setup, Nate. I see guitars, I see bottles of wine, I see the bar right there. It's like the perfect setup. I'm jealous.
Yeah, they got me.
Looks good. Hey, I'm a guitar guy. I like that.
Yeah. My other one was a little, better, I thought, with a taller ceiling and a fireplace, but what are you gonna do, right? You gotta go with what you got.
Well, you are making it work, and I'm excited. I think that unsaturated part, I think, is a big part, Kyle, because for every 100 competitors that are reaching out to restaurants, I don't. This isn't. This is totally me making up my head. My guess is there's like 5 that are reaching out to nonprofits, or maybe even less. And so, restaurants have 1.5 million, and we spend a lot of time, or 1.5 trillion, and other industries have big. We a lot of times talk about the 13 trillion of the B2B, but there's so many other people reaching out and targeting it, and we don't have a lot of people talking in the nonprofit market. So before we go any further, let's start with the elevator pitch. Let's imagine that, Kyle, a lot of our partners who are watching this for the first time have not interacted with you. It's been a while. I look back, it's been 2022 was the last time we did something live with you on some of our trainings. So I'm glad we're coming back around to do this. It's way too long. We talked a lot about it back in COVID, but can you give us a little bit of just the elevator speech when somebody walks in the elevator and says, Kyle, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you founded GiveHub. Can you give us a little background and who GiveHub is?
Sure. So GiveHub is a donation software that's designed to help nonprofits and religious organizations capture missed donor opportunities. There's also a lot of really nice ways to help them stay connected to their ever-growing mobile community. So we've got a full donation product suite that's a la carte, everything from these new tap plates that are being used at an alarming rate, which is great. We've got text giving and all-in-one marketing. We've got free donation kiosks that get placed in high traffic areas, online giving, events, sign-ups. There's really, a whole product suite that's just designed to make their life a lot easier. Normally follow that up if I'm speaking to somebody that is actually in the market that I'd like to show it to by saying, hey, we would love a few minutes to show you a live demo. Would Friday be good, or would Monday work better?
There you go.
Look at that.
Yep.
Perfect. And hold on, Kyle, you don't know this, but Kyle said the F word. Okay, for all the partners out there, we don't say the F word. You can say the bad F word. This is uncensored, but we don't say the word free. But the fact that Kyle has that, we can actually say the F word with Kyle software. That they can have that free kiosk is huge.
Yeah,
and really, I've sold merchants on GiveHub just off the silent auction. I mean, that's something we don't talk about, where they wanted to manage that. Oh, and they wanted text to give, things like that. So that's, a huge game changer. And Kyle, I think you'll appreciate this. My 17-year-old was wearing a GiveHub shirt the other day. I think you gave it to me about 4 years ago. Unfortunately, I've grown since then, so it's a little snug on me. But my teenage son, he's like, Dad, can I wear this? I was like, absolutely, buddy.
Yeah, they're great shirt. Thanks.
Yeah. So
well, we get our first comments live here. I think we ought to bring them up here. Mike Locke says he has 2 accounts with Kyle. Need to do a lot more. I'm going to guess Kyle agrees. And
great.
And a good testimonial right off the bat. Kyle goes way above beyond to help the clients. I think that's a good way to start out as we start this conversation. So, Kyle, can you kind of give us a background how you got into this? I'll let you go.
Yeah, no, listen, I was with Ryan Malloy and the team over there in Troy, just doing the whole merchant service game. I was in it about 10 years. And I just really, I have really plugged into my church and a lot of pastor friends back in the day. And the kiosk was our first product. That was the one that we hit the ground with. We were called freedonationkiosk.com, and we gave those out. We built the software to just make it easy for folks to give in church. And it just, I just thought that it would be great to still be in the merchant account world, but not be in that every day-to-day walk that a lot of folks find themselves as having a tough or frustrating time when it comes to, doing a good job and trying to build a portfolio, but then having a Johnny come lately come in behind you and not always tell them the truth about how they're going to help your client save money by stealing them from you. So it was a little bit of that really made me look into other avenues. And I just, struck at the right time. The kiosks were flying off the shelves. And you mentioned COVID when we spoke last. My goodness, our phone wouldn't stop ringing. And there's still a lot of clients out there. I mean, for us to be able to sign up a couple thousand accounts, there's, you talked about the opportunity, right? So for us having 2,000 accounts that GiveHub has helped, I mean, there's 1.6 million nonprofits. There are 460,000 religious organizations in the U.S. alone. So it's just a big opportunity. I mean, even look at outside the box. I mean, we have the San Francisco Zoo now. That's a big account. We've got a couple boys and girls clubs that are very, very large. We have a very large multi-campus organization coming on board that's going to, there's 600 of them. So it's big. It's worldwide. But so there's just a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, but there's a lot of opportunity. That's kind of how I got my start. Don't mean to ramble on, but
Oh, that's perfect. Well, and I think when you're serving an untapped market and a market that, obviously there are nonprofits that maybe do things we don't agree with or things like that. But as a whole, it's a group of people that are out there doing good, that are trying to help, that are serving, and they're processing those donations, and you want to serve them in a way that helps them, that actually helps them get that money into their purpose and into their mission. How does your experience and your personal mission tying to helping those with their mission, how does that help give GiveHub a step up versus going and using Stripe to process their payments?
Yeah. So, and we see that every day that we talk to a lot of the clients that come on board to GiveHub is that they are using Cash App and Venmo. And one of them just got shut down. I forget which one it is. They're not letting them do it anymore. So that's really helping, but they're those other, the Stripes, the PayPals and all those other ones of the world, they're really not built with donations in mind. They may have a donate button where they can choose a fund, but our back office is robust. I mean, we track the donors, their families, their involvement, their history, their giving, sends out year-end giving statements. It does attendance, children's check-in. I mean, it was built with them in mind. We have a new membership feature that just got launched this week that a lot of the college alumni that use us need. There's some Chamber of Commerce's that need that service where they bill people an annual fee or a monthly fee. We now have that. It just launched. As I mentioned, we just came out with these tap plates. These things are awesome. These things here, you just tap your phone. The churches are putting these on the back of the pews or the chairs, and people can just tap and give or see events or fill out a digital connection card. So the minute these hit, over 100 churches jumped on them. I mean, because all the big ones had them, and now everyone wants what they all have. So it's little things like that, and we're continuing to evolve and come out with other products. We just launched a new fundraising tool, which is, I would love to talk to you guys behind the scenes on that, because we have to create a unique, not boarding, but a unique payment link for that. And I've talked to your dev team on it. We just have to get that narrowed out. The fundraising tool that we have is amazing, and it's another way for your guys to make a ton of money. And on that notion, we talked a little bit about so to go into a church or a nonprofit without a software like GiveHub is pretty darn tough. You need to, that'll get your foot in the door for sure. We're the only company in our industry, and it's a small one, but it's a big opportunity. But there's only a handful of companies doing what we do. We are the only company that is processor agnostic in the sense where you guys can board them with EPX. Edge is built in. They need that. They love it. It's customizable, and it's pretty exciting.
Well, just to piggyback off that, Kyle, just as a reminder, guys, we are handling all the GiveHub demos right now. It's something Kyle and I worked out a couple of years ago. Kyle and his team have been amazing. If we do need to get Kyle involved, you just got me really excited about the memberships, being able to that tap to pay, because right now everyone had just the QR codes on the back of the pews or chairs.
Some people don't know how to use those. Some people don't even know how to use a QR code, especially the older demographic. But this tap plate is just it's customized and it's shipped free of charge. They start at $10 a piece. If they get a ton of them, they go down as low as $3 to $4 each. And those in the testing, it is NFC, as y'all know. It's the near field communication with a big antenna in that plate. And it's been tested 100 million times, and it still works. They don't have to be charged. It's really nice. So it's pretty new that it's being launched in this kind of way. But the possibilities are endless, because it doesn't just have to go to a donation page. It can give them content relative information about where they are in a museum or wherever. Those things are pretty neat. The football team at the high school nearby needs them to just be at the ticket booth so that people can tap it and get their tickets. So those are cool.
Absolutely.
And we have them.
Okay, you just got me. I go to these middle school track meets right now. My son's a 6th grader. He's just running at middle school, and it drives me nuts when they don't give me a link ahead of time to pre-buy, because you get up there. The other night I got there, I was running a little late because I had to drive 45 minutes to get there. My son's about to run. I know it's about to happen, and I'm like, I have to scan this QR code and fill all this stuff in. I'm like, we just make this a lot faster. I'm standing in line, then I have to wait in line to show my phone. I'm like, we've got to be able to fix this system. COVID certainly on the school systems. We fixed a lot of things by going cashless. It's great for our industry, but man, we can work it. Like, I'm excited to hear what you're doing on the donation side and just working with these nonprofits to be able to give them the technology that the big players have, but to make it simple, approachable, accessible, and to be able to tap and be immediately either going someplace on the site or because QR codes are okay, but you got to open I'm excited about this NFC technology. We've seen some other people do it. I'm excited that you're using that. Kyle, go ahead, Matt. Do you have a question?
Well, I was just going to say, it's so funny that Kyle said some people don't. I just taught my elderly neighbor last night how to do a QR code, because she said, I don't understand. I took a picture of it. Now, how do I go in and take me somewhere? So, Kyle, I do have a question for you. And yes, I do want to set up something aside from this with my entire team, because I want to make sure we're up to date on everything that is GiveHub as you guys keep rolling out these great features. But my question for you is, things have changed so much over the last few years, and you and I haven't even had a chance to talk in probably 18 months. Where are you seeing, as we're boarding new GiveHub merchants and so are other people around the country, what would you say are the top 2 or 3 features that you say almost everyone wants? Would it be text to give? Would it be, the phone app, kiosk? What are some of the things that you're seeing now are the most popular that our agents use?
Oh, I think it changes during the demo. They all come on board for price, really. Or I'm sorry, they don't come on board, but they're very interested in booking a demo based on price, because they know they need online giving. Look at 65 to 70%, probably 70% or a little more of the people that we talk to already have online giving. It may be horrible. It may be PayPal, but they at least are there. Where 13 years ago when we started, half of them didn't even have that. So it's like shooting fish in a barrel. But as far as products, once they see it in the demo. So, you bring them to the table with the glitz of, hey, we have it all under one umbrella, because a lot of our clients that come on board are paying 3 or 4 companies to get what we offer under one umbrella. So that's always good. But once it gets rolling, the mobile app is where our clients see their biggest increase in giving. We make that mobile app all things their organization, from notes to videos to, if it's a church, we put the prayer request and the Bible on there. If it's an organization, we're just making it all things them. And when it's on their phone, I mean, that's some pretty amazing real estate when you have your icon on somebody's phone. A touch of a button can just be all involved. So it's probably the mobile app, and then the texting is shortly behind that. A lot of times with online giving, it's really only their core givers that would be that would still have enough emotion to give after the fact. Because if you're in a museum, you're prompted, you feel like you got the feels, you want to give then and there. Same with if you're at church or another religious organization, you feel the emotion to give. It's more of an impulse type of a giving. So believe it or not, it's the kiosk that got us started. So when we have an organization that has all of our products, they all do good, but the kiosk tends to do the least amount of volume, because people don't need to wait in line at a kiosk when they can tap a tap plate, or they can download an app or text the keyword give and give very easily that way. But if I had to rank them, it would be the app, and then the texting would be the top 2.
Nice. Well, and if I can piggyback off you, Kyle, because like you said, the industries, the softwares that are in your industry. If I mention any of them to you right now, you've run into me before. But I want to speak to the pricing, because anyone who's watching this and you don't understand or don't know the pricing, here's an example, guys. I was talking and I was performing the demo, helping one of my team members out. This very large organization. We had like 5 of their board on, and every single thing that I'm showing them at GiveHub, they already have, which is great. But they like the look a little better. They like the look. It's definitely newer. They like how we track the volunteers, things like that. So all in all, the demo went extremely well. But where we got them and where we sold them at the end is I asked them, I said, how much money, annually would you say you spent this last year on your software? And they did have a couple different software pieced together, not the all under one roof. And they told me $4,400. And they said, yeah, that's typical. That's fairly normal. And so I, just kind of smiled. I said, well, guys, that's a big difference. That's a game changer right there, is that everything I just showed you encompasses both companies you work with. And if you did all of this with the promotion that we're run through Kyle, it could be under $1,000 to have everything for annual. And they were just blown away. And not just under $800, and they were just blown away. So, and obviously pricing is based on your different merchant, guys. That was just one specific example, but it really is a game changer to have all in one umbrella and have the prices lowered. So sorry, Kyle, I just had to say that because I know we throw out price. A lot of our agents watching this will be curious of what it is.
So that's when you go into a place and you know what? It really does help to spend 2 minutes on someone's website to see what they already have, so that you're a little educated when you talk to them. Hey, I noticed on your website you take online giving, but I also noticed on my app that you don't have a mobile app. Or maybe they do. The point is just do a little bit of homework and say, hey, I'm sure you'd agree if I can give you more than you're getting now for a lot less money, that it'd be worth 15 minutes of your time to check out GiveHub. So let me ask you this. Would tomorrow be good, or would Monday be better for you to see a demo? It's that short and sweet. So you do a little bit of homework, and then you simply say, hey, we're with GiveHub. We offer a lot of the same of what of what you have now, and we could give you more for a lot less money. I'm sure you'd agree that if we could give you a lot more products, make your life a lot easier for a lot less money, that it'd be worth 15 minutes to check it out. So tomorrow I have an afternoon appointment, or I could do Monday morning. Which would be better? And I'm going right to that close, trying to get a demo.
So let's
go ahead, Nate.
I was going to help our partners, because I think a lot of them, when we say, hey, go find a restaurant, they know where to go find the restaurant. then we say
Yeah.
go find a retail store, a liquor store, or whatever. They know where to go find those. When we say go find a nonprofit, go find a church, they may be able to find the churches, but they don't know when to show
Yeah.
up because they're going up and showing, walking to the front on Sunday morning. Probably not the best sales approach, but I've never, maybe I wouldn't personally try that. You know, how do they find and identify? We know there's a lot of nonprofits, but it's hard to identify them a lot of times. And even
Sure.
then, man, I want to hear it. The San Francisco Zoo, and that kind of. So let's start with how to identify the nonprofits that have been your core constituency so far, and then I want to talk about how you're reaching out and going into things like the San Francisco Zoo. But let's start. How do you identify and
Yeah.
find the nonprofits that are best fit for GiveHub?
Yeah. So the nonprofits, most people tend to help or find organizations that are dear to them. I mean, everyone knows, I love dogs. So there's a Save a Puppy Foundation that I saw at, one of these festivals. I immediately went there and told them about us, and they're a client of ours. But I mean, if you do a Google search of nonprofits near me, so if you didn't have a place or like a museum that you like to go to, you can do a Google search of nonprofits near me, and you'll see one right after the other, after the other, after the other, even on Google. So that's easy. And yeah, I mean, it's just that's where I would start if I didn't have any idea. And as far as the zoo, it was actually a reseller with you guys that reached out to us and said, "Hey, I've got a contact at the San Francisco Zoo. She actually has a lot of them, and she wanted to start with that one. And they literally have a large, the big kiosk with an orangutan on the front of it. It's pretty cool."
Nice.
At the San Francisco Zoo, and like I said, they're coming on with the events. They're building a mobile app. The amount of money they spent on their mobile app, and it got prolonged like a year and a half, was driving them nuts. And they have to use it because they're so vested in it. But they're going to use our mobile app for their events and for their big time donors for special announcements and things like that. And they're rolling out our entire product suite throughout their zoo. So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for anyone. And yeah, there's a lot of opportunity at your local museums and zoos and aquariums and things like that. But even the small ones, they're all available.
Well, and you can think about the amount of partners that they have. I love that idea. Find something that you already have a passion for, whether it's caring for your local humane society and your dogs, like Kyle mentioned, or maybe it's, for each nonprofit, there are also networks of them. They all kind of know each other and work.
Right.
Most people, an earlier decade of my life, I spent a decade just working in nonprofits and there is huge networks of these groups that are already knowing. And usually what's happening is they've gone to the easiest solution they had heard of. So if they want to accept credit card donations, they go to PayPal, or they go to, maybe they already have a website and it's running on WordPress. And so they just started using WooCommerce. Has way too many people just running their donations through there, and then using Stripe or WooCommerce payments. And they have so many more options and opportunities. And I think, Kyle, one of the things I think here is there's a lot of time that our partners are going to come across, and maybe it's just solving one of their needs of a nonprofit. Maybe it's just solving how do they take donations at their event when they want to go card present. And then you solve other, because a lot of these, there's multifaceted ways they're taking donations, and you can help solve multiple places of those and serve all those needs, and just start with one thing that they have. And maybe they're going to have a festival and they need to have several things. We've helped lots of nonprofits over the time by, like, when they host a festival and then they need some type of POS. Matt, we've done this where hey, we're going to put them together and get this POS that they only need for this 1 week, but then we'll transition them into GiveHub and get in those doors. There's so many things that we can do to help them out. Matt, what's the uniquest way? Well, in fact, here, I'm going to just, Rob asked this question. We're going to get right up here. Can we also, you mentioned this earlier, but can you talk us through, can you use Edge? Obviously in the card not present solution, we're talking about just being able to put a transaction and be able to do a dual price or transaction fee. And then obviously talk us about how that's working now. Cause I haven't even heard them natives. I'm sure you've changed this. I saw it 2 years ago.
Yeah, no. So we call it an additional amount, very soft, and it's just, hey, you want to give $100. So Edge is built into GiveHub. It's built in the software. So when you're filling out your PPT application, you don't even have to mark Edge on the application. It doesn't have to be on there. All the accounts are the when you scroll down your equipment list, it's EPX Direct GiveHub, and that's the equipment of choice. You do not have to select Edge on top of it. It's automatically built into our software. So over 90% of donors agree to pay that additional amount. So we give them an on-off button. It's on by default, but they can turn it off. The donor can, if it really offends them. But over 90% of donors leave it on. We even give the nonprofit an opportunity to hide the on-off button and force them to pay it. And believe it or not, some of them do that. So that's a possibility as well. Gosh, I'm crunched on this other appointment, guys. I profusely apologize. I want to talk about 100 other things with you, especially our new fundraising product, but
that's okay. We'll schedule something else with you, Kyle.
Well, yeah, no, we're totally good, Kyle. What we appreciate is this is a huge opportunity, and it is a no-brainer. Every nonprofit wants to be able to, when they get $100 donation, they're going to put $100 for their mission, and most of those who are donating are willing to give 104 to make sure 100 goes to the donation to whatever that mission is and what they're doing.
Right.
I think Edge is and so we want to continue that. Closing words, Kyle, before we'll finish off it. What obviously we're going to use the POS team, Matt's team, the POS Pros team to be able to get in connection and kind of learn more. But what would be your final thoughts about GiveHub?
Yes, thank you so much again, guys, for the opportunity, for everyone who's watching and listening. It's givehub.com, and there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of products, and you don't have to learn it all. Just pique interest and book a demo. That's what we've always said. It works the best. And just book the demo. You can do it right on our website, or of course through the POS Pros there with Matt. And we would love to get you started on this journey with us. It'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Kyle. Kyle, you can jump off.
Thank you, Kyle.
Matt and I will do it. We'll talk to you soon, Kyle. Matt and I will finish this up.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
Matt,
well, and Nate, I think you hit the nail. I think you hit the nail on the head, buddy. Anyone who's got kids, there are so many opportunities at every single school. I mean, I'm paying and adding money on my kids' lunch fund, and I'm paying, Edge prices, an extra $2-3 every time adding food. Or like you said, the event space. I think our partners and all of you are listening don't realize that you're around opportunities more than you think. Even if, I went to my daughter's play like around December, and her little preschool is connected to, church there. And big, beautiful church. We go in and sit, and there's QR codes right there. And I'm sitting next to my mom. Next thing you know, we're talking about it. And the lady behind me, I said, yeah, I have software that does this exact same thing. She goes, oh my gosh, that's great, because we're not happy with the software at my church. Okay, I'll be happy to talk to your person. Then the lady turns around in front of us and says, oh yeah, we have software like this as well, but is yours a better price? And all I'm doing is sitting there wanting to watch my daughter's performance. Now I've got two solid leads, one really good being family. And that was just me going to do something in my school. So I think you hit the nail on the head, Nate, when you said something about the track meet. And all these schools have different softwares probably in place, but they're looking at different solutions. And GiveHub's just amazing for that.
It is. And I saw a question here. A guy is asking about our resources. If you go to myPayProTec.com and search GiveHub, you're going to find, I just did it. I don't have it put to bring up, but I just did it on my phone to make sure we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different presentations, including a link to a video. We'll replace this. This is the PayProTec Virtual Roadshow from 2020. I'm just looking at all these things that we've got up there. We've got some old stuff up there. We'll get to that. But that newest stuff, I know it's been updated recently because I can see I'm looking at the date updates. Some of them are less than 2 months old. So this is something we don't always think about. It's something that is omnipresent in our life. It gives us the opportunity to do good while helping serve our communities and be able to, help. We can help and make a good profit. And, that's always a nice thing to be able to do. And so let's I start thinking about these nonprofits, start thinking about what they are. I will encourage this, and Matt, I'll let you close us
Yeah.
off as we finish up. But one of my things about nonprofits is we've seen a lot of frustrations about churches because they'll say, man, I want to help the church out. And then they're like, man, but the church only processes $1,200 a month or $1,400 a month. And obviously there's very little margin on that. And maybe, they're paying, but the other thing is all churches and nonprofits, you may serve 10 of them and make $2 off. And then you're going to get a hold of the San Francisco Zoo and make thousands of dollars a month off of them. And I'm not even off, but through that, it's not, but through that thing. And I understand there's a lot, and you can choose whether you want to help out the smaller nonprofits versus the bigger nonprofits. And there are different sizes of just like any other businesses. But what I like about is you can provide a service that's not exorbitantly cost, that gets them in the game, that gets their mission being helped out. And nonprofits, you can give them recurring giving and things that'll help them. So I would encourage you, don't just think, oh man, I've got to go find, they already have $100,000 a month of donations, so I want to help that one. Well, yes, certainly if you have the connection, you got there, but you may want to start talking to some of those smaller nonprofits that have no other option. No one else is talking to them. And they're already interacting. They're probably going to a weekly networking. They're going to, and those can be the opportunity to serve some of the smaller, so they'll be your voice to serving some of the bigger. And a lot of those smaller nonprofits will become bigger nonprofits. So let's just do that. I'm excited about being able to do this. I was glad when we were able to work this out and that Kyle was able to join us. Matt, as we close out today, I'm going to put some music on in the background, let you close us off as we do our POS Uncensored for the 1st of May. I'm going to highlight something else for those who are watching. Make sure, if you haven't signed up, join.payprotec.com. We are doing our live training Fuel, powered by PayProTec, on June 4th from 10 to 2 in beautiful Orlando at the Marriott World Center. Plus, we're going to be at the SCAA, which is going there right across the street, the JW Marriott, from June 1st through 4th. We're going to be there. Are multiple of us, including Matt and myself, are going to be there to talk to our partners, to connect with our POS vendors. I didn't get to ask Kyle if he's going to be there, but I know he's been at SCAAs in the past. And for sure, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to connect our partners together. So if you haven't signed up, please sign up. Go to join.payprotec.com. Just fill out that form. If you have questions, you can email me. And Matt, as we close, you're on the clock. How are your closing words today?
All right. So here's the big thing, guys. I want everyone to keep in mind that this software is always available. Everyone seems to get stuck in these ruts of, I got restaurants, I need to help restaurants, I need to help retail, whatever it might be. And we tell you to go after the industry you worked in the past. Okay? This is one you normally have never worked in, but it can really, really help your portfolio. And sometimes it might only be one thing, just text to give, just online booking, right? Anything they need, we can customize with GiveHub. So please keep that in mind. Submit your leads to poslead.com. My team does an amazing GiveHub demo. We'll help you out.
All right. On behalf of Matt Proctor, I'm Nate Manahan. Thank you, Kyle Salone from GiveHub, for joining us. We'll see you next time on POS Uncensored. Next week, we're going to meet Asia. It's going to be another Meet the POS Pros. See you guys. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.